What's up, bankers?
Hello, bankers.
How is everybody doing?
How are you doing? How are your balls? Are they blue? Are they blue? What's a blue ball of a race?
Azul cajones azul.
Azul cajones.
Azul cajones.
Azul. I mean, this race, oh my God, it was just like, when you have a race like this that's like, it's gonna be, they're like, don't worry, it sucks now, but it's gonna rip at the end. It's like, the whole time they're like, yeah, it's bad now, but like, wait till the end, it's gonna rip at the end. But it's like, no. The highlight of this race was George Russell sticking his fucking British balls right through the fucking grid, dude. George Russell, thank God for George Russell, dude.
I mean that the 180 I did on George Russell, like in that race, I was like, George, you beautiful bitch. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. Yes, right. I love you. And then I was like, oh, he's fucking this whole race up. Like,
right.
Because Lando like short circuited.
Yeah.
Like, cause Lando could barely handle Max. And then he sees George and he's like, oh no. And then Max is gone. And then he loses both of them. Cause he was like, that Lando's whole game plan was like, Max. He ran this thing before he went to bed that night. You know, he ran that start 10 million times in his fucking head. Not one of those Doctor Strange simulations did he see George, two trailer park girls go round the outside. See George Russell come round the outside.
Yeah.
You know, and he just short-circuited, I think.
Because
he just short-circuited.
Yeah, like nowadays everybody want to talk and they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move the lips. It's a bunch of gibberish and motherfuckers act like they forgot about George Russell.
Fucking Russell.
No, you're right. He actually, by giving us, by putting the thumb up the ass and, us busting our load in lap one, actually he ruined the race.
He ruined the whole race because Max got by George and then Lando just couldn't get by him quick enough. And then he built up that gap that ruined the whole fucking race. And I think if Lando were to do that again, I think it's just like, let George go. Just worry about Max. George is a flash in the pan. Just doesn't matter what happens with everybody else. You're faster than everybody else. Just worry about where Max is. Ignore.
Well, but that's what he was doing though.
No, but he tried to move he was like pushing Max onto the grass. Good.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yes,
Then George comes out there and you see him move his car back to the left to try to like, and then you could tell, and then Max just outbraked him. Like you could, I can't be inside his head, but I think when he saw George, that must have kind of thrown him going into that corner.
Of course.
And he wasn't focused on just the drag race with Max. You're in a drag race with Max. Don't worry about George. George will fizzle out like he usually does,
and like he did. What a George Russell race it was. It was such a perfect George Russell race.
Yeah. I mean, George was the you jerking off before the date. And you're like, I'll be able to have sex later.
Right.
And then you use the cheap, dirty, I'm going to jerk off before the date. Yeah. And then you can't get it up later. It's the whole night's ruined. That's what it was. And I think the big takeaway here for me, Brian, was that Max was in the slower car today. Lando was in the faster car, but Max, he does that hawk Tuah and he spits on that thing and he just, that's just what he does. That's him. He's the hawk Tuah girl. He knows what's got to be done to make the shit happen.
And he does it the whole weekend. Cause like the thing with Lando is that like he'll hawk Tuah on a Saturday or he'll hawk Tuah in a moment. But at the end of the day, you got to hawk Tuah over the whole weekend, baby.
The whole relationship, he's hawk Tuahing.
You got to put the whole thing together. And that's what Lando doesn't seem to be able to be, to just put the whole weekend together. Put the whole IKEA furniture together, not just the one leg. You got to put the whole furniture set together. He just can't do it.
Lando will put together, look great, and he'll like have 3 screws left in his hand and be like, oh shit.
Yes.
And he'll put it together really quickly and efficiently, but he's got the 3 screws. I mean, this is how I knew Max was different. It was like a few months ago where he was like, no, I forgot which race it was. He was like nowhere all weekend. And then he just got pole because he like got the slipstream off of like Nico Hulkenberg. I'm like,
Hulkenberg, yeah.
And like Hulkenberg was like, he gave me the slipstream, so I didn't give mine. I'm like, he is Hawk Tuah-ing before I even, Max was the original Hawk Tuah girl. He was always just giving it that extra oomph.
Bit of
oomph. You know, he doesn't, even when he's not, he doesn't need to Hawk Tuah, he's Hawk Tuah-ing.
Right.
He's doing, and that's Red Bull, right? Their strategy's always on point. Their pit stops are always on point. They're just, they're tickling the balls. They're doing all the right things.
He just knows how to do the full fucking thing. And it's also like, there's all these moments, like he always does the restarts well. Like whenever there's a safety car, like, and Max is in the lead, I'm like, this guy will find the most opportune moment to fuck everyone over. It's all the intangibles, right? It's the spitting
on the thing. It's the little things in the margins that make the difference. And
and it's like, and it's true. Like, Lando had him on Saturday, but then his start wasn't all that. And he was he was the one out of position. He was the one who braked first. And then all of a sudden this gap wasn't there. And then it was also one of these things where it's like, he's 5 seconds ahead and he's gaining on him. And I'm like, but Max has life left in these tires. Like when Max has to turn it, he's not just, he's not a monolith. He's going to be able to turn it on and turn it off. Like if Lando really got within DRS range, like for one lap, he's going to be able to take him over that lap? I don't think so. He's going to need a little bit more time. Once it was like, oh, he's not gaining a second a lap. He doesn't have like intense pace on him. I was like, it's over. It's over. It's done.
And I mean, they were just trying to make it be like, no, Lando's going faster than everyone else. I was like, he's going faster than Max by like a 10th a lap.
Right.
Which is not enough to whittle into the lead. Or to not whittle enough to catch him.
Right. Right.
I feel like I'm watching an election every time. It's like, it's like Lando states haven't come in yet.
Right. That's right.
Like
his districts, the districts that are Lando's are big Lando
tons of orange votes left. There's still it's going to be an orange wave for Lando. It's going to be great. It's going to be an orange wave for Lando.
That's right. That's right.
They called Max's states early.
Yeah.
Stop the count with Max's states.
I did appreciate the Lando, his attitude though, that he's just like, yo, fuck a podium. What do we have to do to win?
I loved. He's like, we got to cover Lewis. He's like, nah, fuck that. We're racing Max. I'm racing Max. Yes. That was the best radio of the day, but he slowly undercut himself throughout, like at the end.
I know.
Well, because I just saw, have you seen Hitman, Brian?
No, not yet.
Oh man. Do you know the premise of it?
Yeah.
Glenn Powell plays like this nerdy professor who like falls into like pretending to be a hitman. To entrap people basically. And he creates this sect for this woman he's like slowly becoming in love with. He creates a sexy alter ego who's a hitman named Ron. Mm-hmm. And Ron is like cool and sexy, but and Gary's like nerdy and lame.
Right.
And like Gary and Ron Gary starts to become Ron, the sexy and cool one. Right, and and the whole movie's kind of about like, can you change who you are?
Yeah.
And I feel like Lando's, now that he's like got in a car and he's won a race, he's slowly trying to be like, no, I can be Ron. I can be sexy Ron.
Right.
So he was being like, no, I'm an alpha. I'm racing Max. Fuck a podium. And then later he's like, or whatever you guys think. What do you guys, let me put the ball back in your court. Are we like, what have you, what do you think? P3? P3 sounds actually pretty nice. Sponsors would be happy with P3. Like he was like alpha for the whole race. And then he became like, or, either way, it's fine. I'm good either way.
Yeah. He's like, wait, have I cut off my nose despite my face? What's happening right now? But he seemed, and it's also interesting. Someone pointed out, it's like how Max loves it. Max is so fucking jazzed that there's finally someone who's like challenging him. He also loves that it's Lando, because like when Lando pushed him onto the grass today, Max was like, push me on the grass, but like he was just like, all right, let's keep it rolling. You know,
it's like he hasn't been that hard in years.
He's
it's
like
challengers. It's challengers.
He loves that it's Lando.
Yeah.
Like I think that if that was Carlos Sainz pushing him on the grass or Leclerc pushing him on the grass, he'd be like, that's insane. This is ridiculous. Lock him up. But I think he's like, he's into the fact that it's Lando. However, I don't know. I think that Lando's into the fact that it's Max, but like after that race, like Lando seemed pissed the fuck off. Like, hey, on that podium today, there was no, he does the classic, the Lando champagne move where he smacks it on the ground. He hits the base of it and it pops everywhere. That didn't happen on the fucking podium today. Lando was like,
he's hard on himself.
He's really hard.
He's very hard on himself. He was like, no, I fucked that up. We should have won. We had the fastest car. I'm an idiot. Stupid. Yeah. He has a little bit of Leclerc in there.
Yeah.
It's a little less emotional. It's a little bit more like anxious. Like, I don't know why you let that happen. You're an idiot.
Right.
Idiot.
Yeah.
That's It's
yeah.
more like Jewy, like it's more like Jewy self-hatey vibes than like Charles Leclerc, who's just like a puddle of emotion. No, I am stupid.
Yeah,
but
no, when Charles messes up like that, he's like, it's really a new discovery. He's like, how could this happen to me? When Lando does it, he's like, of course, I'm an idiot. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a fucking idiot. Well, of course it happened to me because I'm fucking stupid.
He's very like Lena Dunham about it. Like, just like, in his own head, just a head case about it.
And there is, I think there's a point where being your own harshest critic is a good thing. There's also a point where there's a tipping point where it becomes a bad thing. And I think that like the next few races, it seems like what's coming ahead is that the Ferraris are kind of nowhere on these road tracks. It seems like that the Ferraris, Mercedes are catching up, but they're still not really close. It's really kind of like Red Bull McLaren for 1-2 and then Ferrari Mercedes for 3-4. So it seems like this summer is going to be a lot of what we saw today.
Yeah.
And I think that Lando's going to have plenty of opportunities over the, coming month to stick it to Max and try to put together a full weekend. So if he's like being too hard on himself, it could have a negative effect. So this will be a really interesting training ground.
If you have the fastest car, it's hard to be like, if you have the fastest car, every time you don't win, you're like, I fucked up. We fucked up. It's a different mentality than, you have the second fastest car. And if you get P2, P3, okay, great.
Right.
And if you win a freak one, you're a hero. Now it's just like every time he doesn't win, he fucked up. That's kind of seems like it's the attitude.
Mm-hmm.
He had pole. His car was fast. He fucked up.
Yeah.
That's where he's at. And what really sucks is an anxious person, because like I understand him a little bit, the way his brain works, I could tell, is like I'm sure he thought about this race in his head 1,000 times. And the fact that like the way he lost, he didn't anticipate that. And that's why it's like all the planning, all for naught, like all for George Russell to ruin my race. And I anticipated Max like getting me in the corner, but like to have George get me too, and then I'm stuck behind George and then Max has a gap and there's really nothing I can do. Yeah. Because when you have anxiety, it's like a lack of control. And you're like, well, if I can just think enough, I can anticipate enough, I'll be ready on the day. And then he just wasn't ready.
Right.
Oh, he wasn't ready. Then that really sucks.
Yeah, he maybe needs a little bit. Remember we talked to Joseph Newgarden, now 2-time Indy 500 champion?
Yeah.
And we talked to him after he won his first one, and we were like, what did you do different? Like, what, like, you've done this race, I think it was 12 times before. Like, what was different about this time? And he was like, honestly, I just didn't do any of the research that I normally do. And it was like,
right.
I know this. And he was like, he's such a good student. He's such a good student, Newgarden. And like, it's important to then be like, no, I know this. I trust myself. And there is a point where like you could be hard on yourself, but then at a certain point in life, you need to trust yourself. And I think that Lando's maybe at times has trusted himself too much. He's like, I'm the shit. I'm fucking Lando Norris. Suck my dick from the back. I'm the shit. Don't worry about it.
Well, he's in a new territory now.
He's in a new territory.
He's never been in the situation where he's had the fastest car.
Yes.
He's been in the situation where he's had the third fastest car and it's like punching above his weight and everyone's loving how well he's doing in the third fastest car. But he's never been like, okay, you're in the fastest car. Go win. Go win every time.
Yeah. Max is like, it makes me think of this. There was this Khabib. There's this when McGregor was fighting Khabib. That whole like UFC, there was, Conor McGregor was fighting this guy with Khabib, and McGregor was like the loudmouth kind of like, I'm the fucking shit, mate. Like, And then Khabib was like the very like serious Russian, like just like wrestler, grappler.
Yeah.
And he had some quote where he said, I take people, this is what Khabib said to McGregor. He says, I take people into deep waters and they discover themselves. And kind of like that's where Max lives.
Yeah.
And it's like Lando's entering the deep waters of Max Verstappen, and it's like, wow, you will discover yourself in these waters.
Yeah. You'll drown or you'll drown.
You'll sink or swim. I mean, these are the waters he's in now. He's in a different fucking league.
Brian, who won that fight?
Khabib.
Easily. There's a great Key and Peele sketch. I'm sure this is what it's based on. Peele is like, I'm gonna smoke him. Like he doesn't have a chance. And then Peele is just like, Key is like, I pray for his ancestors. Like he's just very stoic and spiritual.
Right.
And Peele is like, he said what? What'd he say? And Peele's getting scared because he's just like, this guy's actually a psycho, a stoic psycho.
Right.
That's Max a little bit.
It's Bane. It's I was born in it.
Yeah, I was born in the darkness. Yeah. Yeah, look at you, Lando, with parents who love him unconditionally.
Yeah, right. I mean, these are the waters where it's like, what are you made of? And like, Max is made of some different fucking stuff. Now, I think that like, Lando might have the car advantage. And if he can like kind of get out of his own way and put these things together, he might be able to win some races. I don't think that's happening this season, but like, we'll see what he can do over this summer break. Like this summer will be such a proving ground for him. It will be the stone with which he will sharpen his fucking sword. And we will see what sword comes out of it.
Are you scared? Are you scared for your boy? Are you scared for your child? I mean, I'm obviously rooting for him because I'm like, I want Max to not win every race. So I'm just like, every time he gets a lead or he's close, I'm cheering. But I'm also thinking, damn, Max is picking up a lot of these ones that maybe he shouldn't necessarily pick up.
I am a little bit scared for my boy Lando, but I also was encouraged by things today. I wasn't completely discouraged. I think that like that start, like, it wasn't a huge fuck up on his part. It was just kind of like, honestly, I don't know no one was expecting George Russell to fucking come out of there. Like he was behind Lewis. Lewis got a shit start as well. Like a really bad start. So I think that Lando doesn't have to be so hard on himself on this one. It was kind of a luck thing, but I think that in the next race, it seems like it's going to be for Max. I think Austria, they're going to try to really make sure that that's a win for Max. But I think Silverstone, there's a real shot. It's a home race for him. It's high speed corners, which is what the McLaren's are the best at. So that will be the real, I think, moment for him. The pressure will be on in a really intense way. We will be there, so he will obviously be really trying to impress us. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, the pressure will be immense. That might be
a little too much pressure for him, honestly.
Yeah. He's like, the red flags are in town. Fuck.
Uncle Brian is here?
Matt's rooting for me? Fuck. I have to fucking pull this out.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is the real sort of blueprints is Max in 2021. What you have to do to win when you don't have the fastest car, or it's like pretty close. You just have to be a fucking psycho.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I think Lando Norris can win a championship if he's got, you know, a real car advantage. But when it's like, you know, 1A, 1B, and it's kind of, oh, I have a slightly faster car today. You have a slightly faster car today. You kind of just had that difference is just, that's the difference is you being a fucking psycho. And was McLaren deferring to him a little too much with the strategy? Maybe. But you know, Ruth Buscombe was saying it, you know, in the post race, friend of the pod. She was saying there wasn't, once he lost to Max and George and he couldn't get by George fast enough, it was over. There was like really no, then you're just kind of hoping for a safety car. Yeah.
I think they did everything after that point. People were like, McLaren fucked him. And I was like, no, they didn't. They did everything they could after that, like, bad break that they got in the start of the race. He is now in second place. It should be noted. It looks like, I think he's, you know, going to easily get second place in this championship. Another thing that's kind of, what's also kind of interesting of note, you know, it's like, the gap now is also formed within like him and Piastri at the moment of like,
what's that gap?
Like today was big and this weekend it was big. Obviously the points total, but like it's,
well, he didn't, like he had some, he couldn't get a run in Q3. And then he had one run in Q3. Right. He had one run in Q3 and he went off. So he just didn't get. Yeah. So whatever, like, I don't think where he finished in the race is really indicative. He had a bad weekend.
Where he maybe could have been. Yeah. But it's also, I think for Piastri, it's like kind of like the pressure, you know, the pressure's kind of off. Like he's got the long contract. Like he's going to be able to like, you know, find his form. I still, you know, think it's kind of maybe there'll be a nice that he can just like kind of work on the shit the intangibles that he needs to work on. Because, hey, someone who I would trust if they were in that position, who I don't think is fucking like flappable, is Oscar Piastri. I'm like, I think that he's just young and still figuring out like the skill level and the certain skills they need. But I don't think it's like a nerves thing with Piastri. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't think he's in his own head at all.
No.
I think if those two guys made like a Super Saiyan, like those guys did a combo, if you just created one driver with Lando's you know, Lando's polish as a driver and Oscar's just fucking nerves of
steel,
adamantium. I think you'd have the perfect driver.
Totally.
Although I did have multi-viewer up.
Yeah.
With all the radios. They didn't broadcast this, but I just saw something come up on like him say, I just saw him radio something. He got upset at one point. I don't know when it was. He probably was having trouble overtaking somebody because he had to do a lot of overtaking today. He went, I saw, for fuck's sake. And then like 2 minutes later, he said, yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so like, he couldn't do something and then he did something clearly. Yeah. I think he was like overtaking the Alpines. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that I just brought up the Alpines.
Yeah.
They're like pretty good. They're right where they're supposed to be now. They're fine.
Yeah,
it's all fine.
Back.
Everything's fine. Yeah. It's crazy how we're so dumb and we're like, oh, their whole shit is imploding. They should shutter everything up. Is France a third world country? You know, this is why Andretti should be in. This is why France shouldn't have their own team. They should Andretti, right? They're right where they always are. They're back. P4, P5, mid. They're solid midfield now.
And we know why.
What? Oh, Flavio, obviously.
Yeah, because Flavio Briatore's back in the fold, baby.
No, okay, so this is what I want to say.
Yeah.
Why isn't Sainz going there? Like, why isn't Williams?
Crazy.
Williams is so bad right now.
It's crazy.
It's crazy how bad they are. They finished last and second to last, and Albon went off. Just went off.
On his own.
Unassisted. And then I think he was trying to do some spinning. He was like, something's wrong. And they're like, nope, everything's fine. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
Don't just say that.
It can't be because of me.
I've never fucking just gone off on my own. That's never happened once.
Don't look at the last 2 Australian GPs. Don't look at those.
No, I mean, I think this car sucks. It's really hard to drive. I think people are saying, well, they're looking at the Mercedes advantage of that power unit. I'm thinking, okay, right. You'll be the third. They'll still be the 4th fastest probably with that package. No, third. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe McLaren and Mercedes will probably be 1 or 2.
1, 2. Yep.
So you'll be the 3rd fastest Mercedes package?
Maybe. Oh, yeah. Because Aston's going with
Aston's going to Honda. But I just think it's like, I don't know. It's just, they're so bad. They're so bad.
Right.
I mean, yeah, if you signed a couple of weeks ago, it's crazy what a difference a couple of weeks makes. But it's just, It seems psychotic that he's going to Williams. Just because Williams, he's literally making a choice based on aura.
Vibes.
It's a vibes signing. Like the vibes at Renault have never been good, but they've consistently finished ahead of Williams for years. Yes. When was the last time that Williams has finished ahead of Renault?
Yeah, I think it was like in the Bottas years where they were
like in the Bottas years, maybe. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In the beginning of the Merc power unit dominance, but then guess what? As all the other teams figured their shit out, where did Williams go? Down. So in the beginning of that sect, when it was like it's actually 100% about the engine, all of a sudden Williams was like having decent showings. Lance Stroll got a podium. Lance Stroll was on pole at one point, and then it was like, oh wait, all the other tems have figured their shit out.
Guess what? Guess who also might have a Mercedes engine? Renault. So, Alpine. The whole Mercedes, they might. He's like, well, you guys have a shitty engine. We know. We might hop on that Mercedes bandwagon. So it's just really fascinating to see this turnaround.
Yeah.
That they've figured out.
I was just in Paris, right?
Okay.
And I'm in Europe right now. I'm in Berlin at the moment. I was just in Paris, and I was so bowled over when I was in Paris. It was Men's Fashion Week. I'll say this, but in Paris,
they're just men's. I didn't know they gendered it like that.
They do. I think there's maybe both, but this was like a men's fashion week. They do a bunch of them. There's like 10 a year.
Okay.
But I'm in Paris and I look around and everyone is dressed so unbelievably well. I was just bowled over by how well dressed everyone who lives in France is, in Paris specifically. But like, I was like, the floor is so high.
Yes.
Like everyone looks good. And it made me realize just how poorly these fucking French drivers dress. And how it's really like a disgrace to the nation. How Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, and you know what? I'm throwing Charles Leclerc in there. The way that if these guys dressed just like the average Joe.
Parisian. Yeah.
Stepping
out of Zara.
Everyone would freak the fuck out, and there would be just like purely lookbooks about like, look what Pierre Gasly's wearing today.
Because they do too much. They do too much, and the Paris fashion's all about like it's very like it's basics minimal, but done in the best way possible, and everyone just looks so good. And these boys are so handsome, and they have every access to so much money. And That's the problem.
With 150 euros, I could put together outfits. I bought so much shit on the street for 49 euro, for 30 euro here, for 50 euro there. And I'm like, if Pierre Gasly could just wear some of the shit that I bought, like everyone would be freaking the fuck out. It's really a disgrace.
Yeah, even their vintage shops have really good stuff.
Unbelievable. I spend so much money. Subscribe to the Patreon. Patreon.com/HeroOfPod. I've spent so much money on clothing in Paris.
Where did you go? Just like not even name brand stuff?
I bought some shit just on the street, on the market, on the street. There was like a streetwear place where I got this really cool t-shirt. I bought some nice slacks. I bought like €350 shoes. That was my big purchase. And they're fucking sick. They're suede. They're suede black.
You can never wear those.
No, you can wear them all the time, baby. They're fucking amazing. I'm obsessed with them, and I'm going to attempt to get into Berlin's hottest club wearing them tonight. So we'll see what happens.
But that's all you can wear, though. You can't wear anything else. Just wear the shoes.
Exactly. I'm just wearing the shoes. That's the way to get it.
Maybe a banana hammock, and that's it.
That's right. Okay. Do we want to talk about what Flavio? I mean, Flavio's back in the fold. What do you think this?
I mean, this is why I love this sport. It's like Pete Rose being back coaching baseball again.
Literally.
It's so good.
I
love how corrupt this sport is.
This guy was banned from Formula One for fixing a race.
For life. Lifetime ban.
Lifetime ban.
Yeah. Still alive. Still looks like he's in pretty good health. Not even like, he's only got a couple of years left. Let's just honorary let him back in. Did he ever apologize? Do you know?
No, baby.
Was there ever did he ever really fall on his sword, or is he just seems like he's just unapologetically himself?
Fake news. I never banned. I never, you know.
It was all handled in the back. It was all handled in the back room.
Yeah. No, he's a legend. I love that, the ultimate, pinnacle, shady character of Formula One is, now back to fix the, burning house that is Alpine.
Yeah, I love it.
Back where he won his championships. Let's not forget. I mean, he won his championships also at Benetton, which then
was Renault.
Right. Benetton then became Renault.
He won at Benetton and then Renault.
Yes.
Yeah, he won 2, I think.
Flavio's back. I think if anyone can kind of turn it around for them, I think it's him. I trust him. I really want. We'll talk to Gunther about it.
That a hawk Tuah.
If anyone, hey, fucking Singapore.
Yeah.
2007.
Yeah.
Talk about someone giving it that. I mean, that was Flavio and what was this in Nelson Piquet Jr.
Yeah, and there was I think it was somebody, I forgot his name, but he's also been back on the sport.
Yeah,
but yeah, good to see Alpine back. Good to see Williams continue to be shit.
This Aston Martin. Dan Fallows. He was supposed to be this guy. He came in. He was supposed to be the genius. He was supposed to be someone that they could put their full trust in. And, it's just been this. It's just been the decline over there.
Yeah, all the other,
Aston.
It's like, I've said this before. It's, when we were hunting for Bin Laden, right? We were always getting his number 2s. Adrian Newey is Bin Laden, and everybody else can pick off the number 2s, but it's not not the OG. Right. Everyone's like, yeah, Dan Fallows, he's basically Adrian Newey, but he's not Adrian Newey.
Right. Well, now apparently there's reports that Aston is throwing in some crazy numbers to try to get Adrian.
Right.
Because Adrian Newey right now is taking his sweet fucking time choosing where he's going.
But he's not making a big deal out of it like Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz is every team that hasn't signed a driver has made an offer to me. Is he really enjoying? I think, is he enjoying free agency?
He loves it.
Is he enjoying I think he's enjoying it.
He's totally enjoying it.
I think he likes being the belle of the weakest free agent market there has ever been.
Yes. The lamest ball I've ever seen.
He is the belle of the lamest ball.
Yes.
dude, you're getting consistently outqualified and beaten by your teammates. They made the right decision in firing you. You are A- to B+ driver. And you're going to Williams or Renault or Audi. Like, this is not a sexy thing that you're doing. It's
but also he's like, what he said was that every team who hasn't, chosen their second driver has made him an offer. So why isn't he going to Mercedes?
Right. Well, because they didn't give him a year, because they didn't give him enough years. And give enough years.
Well, then I don't want to hear you complaining next year when you're at Williams and you're finishing in last place, because this is like, yeah, he is. And Magnussen said it in the press conference. He was like, yeah, the cork in the bottle, like no one knows where the fuck we're going next because this fucking asshole won't choose.
And he's loving it because on the other side of it is just like he's at Williams. And okay.
Yep.
It's the anticipation of the thing is always better than the actual thing.
Right. Yeah.
I think he's getting off on this.
No, he is loving it.
Where's he going to go?
He is.
He's never been a sexy in terms of like people wondering about him. He's never been the number one free agent. He's never been that.
No. Right.
And it just so happens that he is now. Because everyone else is like all the A tier guys have been locked up for so long.
Right. But it's like he's at the prom date and then it's like, choose whichever one you want. And then like every guy is like uglier than the next. And he's like, oh, great. Amazing.
It's interesting.
I'll just sit over here. I don't have to choose. It'll just be that everyone wants me. Let's not look at who everyone is, but everyone wants me. Yeah. So it's just like, choose, babe, choose. We're tired. We just want to know where you're going. Let's make a decision so we can.
Everyone said, it'll definitely be by the Spanish GP because like that's his home race and it'll be a fun place for him to announce. But he didn't do it.
He didn't do it
because he likes the attention.
He likes it,
guys. For all you for the 3 Carlos Sainz fans that are left that listen to this pod, how annoying was he this week?
Oh my God!
What a Karen! What a Karen!
I mean, obviously he's Karen of the day. I mean, it was like that overtake that Lewis did on him was so above board.
Well, they hit wheels. They did hit wheels.
I understand, but yeah.
Hey, Toto, we went motor race. It's called a motor race.
It's called a fucking motor race, Carlos. Yeah. It's called a motor race. That shit was so above board. And he's like, can you believe, they're like on the radio, like, I know it's so unfair, Carlos. It's crazy.
My favorite part of the whole race, Carlos gave me the best moment of other than George overtake, when he complains, right? And I forgot which time, because he complained so many times, it was hard to keep track, but he was like, according to rule A, sector B, I had the corner, and he was like a lawyer. And his grandfather was actually a famous lawyer. He comes from a litigious family.
Yes.
But yeah, I won't get into the story about his grandfather. That'll be behind the paywall.
Yes.
Subscribe to the Patreon. But basically, like he complained about, I think, the move with Lewis. Like how he's like, well, he's got to give the place back. That's my place. Like he's such a little kid. He's like, he took my toy. He's got to give it back. He's got to give it back. He always asks for the place back. And my favorite part of the race is when Carlos just goes, any news?
Yeah.
And I wrote me to my manager. Yeah. Me to my manager.
Literally. Hey, any updates on my audition for the Brad Pitt F1 movie? Nope. Didn't hear anything. You would have told me if I had gotten a call back. Yeah.
My manager at one point was like, Christopher Nolan, actually, he wants to buy the rights to your film and he wants to go into production next week. I forgot to tell. I don't know why I didn't call you. I just was going to go. I forgot. Yeah. No, there's no fucking news. Like, obviously, if there was news, I would have told you. I don't call my manager anymore and ask him if there's news. But if I can't even help myself though. Like if he calls me about something I am working on, then I'll go, anything else? Yeah. No, I still can't help that but I never call him anymore. Like, obviously, if they're not telling you he's giving the place back, it's not happening.
Just run your race.
Just fucking run your race.
Just run your race.
So the start though, he lunges at Leclerc, and Leclerc's like, fuck off. And he actually, right. Carlos Sainz went wide. He went wide and he did the thing that he would have bitched and moaned 1,000% about, gaining advantage from leaving. But I think it was Karun said that you're at like that specific runoff, you're allowed to do that. And of course, Carlos Sainz knows that you're actually allowed to go wide on that runoff and gain an advantage.
Yeah.
So it's a very like, he's such a nerd, dude. He's such a fucking nerd.
No, he knows the rule book in and out.
He does give it that hawk Tuah when it comes to knowing the rules and knowing strategy.
He's an intangible guy. I mean, he crosses all of his fucking T's. He dots all of his I's. I would love to see him and George Russell as teammates, because that would just be, talk about like two guys that are just like constantly thinking about the rule book.
Yeah. I would say Carlos Sainz is like a master strategist and George is more of a riverboat gambler. Just shooting craps, putting it all on red.
Putting it all
We'll get to red. George in a second, but I want to say Charles Leclerc said, and they were talking shit about each other in post race.
Right.
But Leclerc was Leclerc said that they were instructed to save their tires in the opener. So Leclerc was like, I was quite surprised to see Carlos, lunging at me, and it was quite surprising. But he extended some grace to him. He said, it is his home race, and he's in a very important moment in his career. So I understand that. So, I mean, I think, I don't think he was too mad, even though it's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. He knew, he's like, Carlos, it's his home race. He's a free agent. He's going to do shit like that.
Also, guess what? He was like, I'll get him later. Don't worry.
Well,
I'll see you later.
Well, they put signs on the hards. It's like they put these different guys on the hards. They put George Russell on the hards.
Yep.
And Ruth Buscombe, friend of the pod, she was like, immediately was like, that's stupid. That's what I like about Ruth Buscombe on these broadcasts, is because everyone else is like careful. She's immediately like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, this is an adhesion sensitive track. You don't fucking do that.
Right.
Like she said it right away. No.
Yeah.
Don't know why they did that. I mean, maybe there's something I'm not seeing, but that's stupid.
Right. No, she crushes it on these broadcasts.
Yeah, she does.
And she's like forecasting shit. She's like, it's top three is going to be Lando, Max, Lewis. That's what it's going to be. And then like, boom, that's what it was. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to
and like you
Ruth.
could tell Will Buxton and what's his face doing. They keep bringing doing in. I was like, can we get a new guy?
Yeah.
Can we get a new guy? He's
yeah.
I mean, I get that he's cute, but does he have the most charisma? Can I get a little more Riz? Is that mean?
Sure. It's
just getting a lot of Jack doing. I'm getting a lot of Jack doing in the post.
Right.
In the post race. I mean, he's got. I want his fucking manager. What I want.
Yeah. He's front and center
because
he's getting a lot of
does not have. He's not that good to have that spot every time.
Right.
Yeah, they put George on the hards. I mean, how demoralized is George right now?
Crazy.
George texts. George is just texting greatness every night, just texting. Just like, hey. Lewis just like shows up late to the party.
Mm-hmm.
Just looks at greatness one time, gives her the head nod, and greatness goes home with Lewis every fucking time. Lewis walks down and fucks them all.
Yeah. It was such a classic George Russell weekend.
Well, Lewis did out-qualify him, actually.
He did. But then he gets a bad start. George gets a great start, does this crazy lunge.
Yeah.
then is like, I love that. I think that George can't stand that Lando's having the moment that he's having right now.
Right, because Lando, because George was the anointed one. George won all the things that Lando came
they
P3.
were rivals.
Yeah.
They were rivals in F2. Lando got P2. George won.
Yeah.
And George is like, he's taller than Lando. He was the anointed one.
And in the better program,
like
the better drivers program.
In the better program, and Lando was like his little shit kid brother. Yeah. And now, and George was, and then George went
clear why you like Lando.
He hates
and then Lando had a growth spurt, and everybody loves him now.
Lando had a growth spurt. But but it was like, but then George goes to Mercedes. He's supposed to be the next. It's like, it's his time. Then all of a sudden, the customer team of Mercedes, McLaren, has all the pace, and Lando is in these positions where all of a sudden he's the guy. It's him and Max. Yeah.
George was the first overall pick. Lando was like fifth overall pick. And now fifth overall pick is like looking like he might win the championship before the first overall pick.
Yes. And then when Lando passed George today, George was like, no.
Yeah. He fought that so hard. He fought it
so hard.
I couldn't believe how hard he fought that.
His tires.
I couldn't.
He fought it so hard.
It was amazing. I was gagged for it. I was like, oh, Lando's got him. He's in a faster car, obviously. And then George's like, not so fast. I'm gonna make this as fucking painful for you as I possibly can. And then
and in the process, destroy my tires.
You think that's why they put him on the hard and they boxed him early because he was done?
I don't know, but it just seems like there's no way that was good tire strategy for him to like.
I love when they asked George in the beginning of the race. They said, "So George, how are you on pushing?" And he goes, "More than the others." Like, so you're gonna save for the money shot at the end? No, I'm gonna come right now. Actually, I'm gonna come like before her clothes are even off. Like, that's when I'm gonna do it. They're like cool.
Lights up. Oh fuck!
I love him. I love him so much, dude. Because George is so human. Lewis is just like
so human.
He's such a human. Like, I want to do the thing that's good right now. I want the cookie right now. Lewis is like, I'll get two cookies.
He's me at the hotel. He's me at the hotel reaching for the fucking bag of stroopwafels last night. He's just so like, what if I got Skittles and a milkshake and a burger?
Lewis understands, like, George got him. He's like, it's a long race.
Mm-hmm. I'll
get him later. You know, This bitch is 66 laps. I'm going to sweat lap 1.
Yeah.
It's all George lives his life like a quarter second at a time. He's a fucking gerbil. He's a fucking angry gerbil with no forethought at all. He's just.
But thank God for him because he gave us so much.
My favorite driver. He's a one-man show. He's a one-man show. His very flawed way of going about things is beautiful.
Right. It's so entertaining.
He can't just chill.
No.
He has zero chill.
No.
And then he has to finish behind Lewis again.
Uh-huh.
Crazy. I mean, if they're trying to sabotage Lewis, if this email is true, they're doing a terrible fucking job.
Oh my God. Yeah, let's get into this shit. This is crazy. Oh, Vankers! This episode is brought to you by BetMGM. As you all know by now, we've teamed up with BetMGM this season, and we'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for our listeners each week. For the upcoming races, you can bet on which drivers will be P1 in each free practice. Listen! We know who's going to win the race. It's Max Verstappen unless his tire literally goes up in flames. But guess what? FP1, FP2, FP3. Sometimes Alex Albon's on pole, and we don't know why. But maybe you could, and you could bet on that for every race. You can bet on quali. You can bet on who's going to win, who's going to, you can bet on the season at large. And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code DADDY, and you will get up to $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code DADDY, because we're fun, just DADDY. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game or race. You can also bet on other things besides F1, but we all know why you're here. You will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use the bonus code DADDY when you sign up. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code DADDY and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico, or visit www.1800gambler.net for West Virginia. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
For those of you who don't know, an email was sent from an anonymous source. It was sent to the same I think it was sent to the same list that the,
Christian Horner stuff was sent to.
Christian Horner documents were sent.
Yes.
And the claims are, Motorsport reported the message claimed to be from a team member and accused Mercedes and especially Wolff of, quote, systematic sabotaging of Hamilton's car, strategy, and mental health. It went on to claim that there were, quote, underhand actions taking place and feared that the squad was on a dangerous path that could ultimately be life-threatening, quote, to Lewis. So this is like a leak, I guess, that was sent to everyone saying that Mercedes is like out to get Lewis, not only like on strategy, but also on mental health and physical health, that like they're out to get him because people are pissed off that he's leaving, I guess, to go to Ferrari. Now, Mercedes has dismissed any suggestion that the email has any element of truth and are clear that the communications have not come from an employee. And Toto Wolff, clearly agitated, said that the police have been called and he has vowed to find the perpetrator. That he is basically saying he's not calling the police because he's like, are these things true? He's like, they're false, and I need to find out who's saying that they are true and make sure that they are brought to justice. This is, I mean, this.
What's to stop it from being like me? You know what I mean?
Nothing,
what if it's just some crazy person who's just saying shit?
Probably is.
Also, I mean, it just makes no sense that Mercedes would sabotage him.
No, there's clearly like, I doubt there's any fucking truth to this. It's probably a pissed off Lewis fan who like got the email address and just like wrote a manifesto and was like, this is what's happening. But like, I love this sport so much that shit like this happens. Like, where else does this kind of shit happen? Like, it just doesn't. It's just so, what a weird world we have, like, chosen to, like, put our magnifying glasses on.
Yeah. Did they ask Lewis about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they were trying to sabotage Lewis today, as you said, they did a bad job because he had a great race. He got his first podium since Mexico last year. He was in fine form and, he was doing the thing. This is what I said. It was kind of like, Lewis is like hanging around and then he'll find his moments and George will crumble and he'll ultimately beat George this year. And I think that's like, this was a moment of like, this felt like when I play table tennis against someone who I know I can beat. And I just kind of let them get up 10-3 and then I just beat the shit out of them and beat them like 21-14. And I feel like on some level, that's like the game that Lewis is playing with George Russell.
Yeah. It's tough out here for George. It's tough. It's hard to see. It's tragic to see somebody not able to just overcome their tragic flaw every weekend. Every weekend, he just can't do it.
I know.
It's like Lando. You there's like hope now. He won a race. He's very competitive.
There's variety to Lando. There's variety. There's new shit that kind of comes and springs up and there's like kind of new problems. But when George, it's like the same thing keeps happening.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. It's thrilling.
It's so relatable. It's just like, it's so relatable. It's like when someone dates a person that,
just can't get out of that pattern. He keeps doing the thing.
Same type of person.
Yeah.
when you meet your friend's new girlfriend or boyfriend and you're like, oh, we hated the last one. And then you meet the new one. You're like, oh, they're just like but worse. But like, yeah, it's just like, oh God, there you are again.
You just can't get out of your own way.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think, it seems like this is probably bullshit. I just find the whole thing to be so
I'm surprised that Toto takes it so seriously.
Yeah.
Called the police. It's very
the lady doth protest.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, just you ever heard of the Streisand effect?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just going based on the sample size of like 2 here.
Right.
But Susie Wolf is like doing a crazy lawsuit in French court with the FIA.
Right.
And like Toto Wolff is calling the police over this email. Like they seem like a very litigious bunch. I think they would do much better in the United States.
Yeah, it's true.
I
mean, it says that like kind of Toto's it's accusing Toto of a bunch of shit. So I think that's part of why he's kind of taking it so personally. We'll see what happens with this. We'll see if there's any, it's a developing thing, but we'll see. I don't want to give it any too much more breath than I think it's probably all bullshit. But we'll see if Toto catches the internet troll.
I can't believe. I can't believe.
We'll see if he catches the member of Team LH that sent the fucking email.
I can't believe I'm out here defending Toto. It's a wild place to be.
Well, I don't know if it's like defending Toto. I just think that it's like these are probably they're false claims, and he's probably going a little bit overboard. Yeah. All right. Why don't we get into our sexy little awards? Let's start with our award brought to you by our newest partners at Cash App. This is payback of the day.
Who
got payback today?
Alpine. All the fucking haters, dude. Everyone said that they weren't shit.
Yeah.
Nobody's even dreaming. Carlos Sainz ain't even dreaming of going to Alpine. Much rather go to the second to last place fucking Williams. I think Alpine made a big statement today. That's a wild thing to say.
Huge day.
It was a huge day for Alpine.
It was. They were back to where they started. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to give it to the man we were just talking about, Lewis Hamilton, because George Russell kind of like, it got him on the start. And then he just slowly was like, I'll get you back. I'll get you back. Same with Leclerc. Leclerc also a fine member of maybe payback of the day. Just like, all right, Sainz, you're coming in hot at the start. I'll see you later. Okay. Vankas, not only does Cash App sponsor our favorite perfectly branded Formula One team, but they also make it easier for you to save money so you can do the things you love, like go to an F1 race. Listen, to be honest, we thought that Cash App was just a way to send people money, but it's also a faster, simpler way to bank. You can start saving with as little as $1 a buck. No hidden fees, no minimum balance requirements, no account fees. It's hard to find these days. And we all know that overdraft fees make no sense. Why are you charging someone if they don't have any money? Plus, when you deposit $300 or more in paychecks, you can get up to $50 in free overdraft coverage. It pays to get paid on Cash App. So go download the app today, babies. Thank you, Cash App. Now back to the show. Hottest moment of the day.
Obviously, George's pass.
Yeah.
George's start was incredible.
George's pass and then George's fight with Lando.
Yeah. George is carrying this race on his back, but also ruining it. So
literally putting
George is a one man. He's just an X factor. He's just the way he can affect a show.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to have even if it's a supporting role, he can just the way he's got. You just walk away from the show remembering George Russell. His outsized impact is just really just crazy.
Yeah. I remember I did a musical in college, and a friend of mine, I was like one of the leads of it. And then a friend of mine was like in the ensemble, but that just like went so hard in the paint in the ensemble that he was like written up in this review.
Yeah.
And they were like, and one of the real takeaways is, I can keep this in, is Jimmy Nicholas and then he named his character name, which like, I didn't even know that it was his character's name. They're like, an absolutely thrilling performance. And I was like, and it was just like, because he just went so hard in the paint in like the group numbers that he was just
dancing and his faces were crazy.
And he just made the reviewer like would laugh and being like, that kid's a fucking star.
That's George Russell. Just crushing it in the ensemble.
That's George Russell. Just fucking crushing it in the fucking
ensemble. Or is it
and
more of a knock? Like my sister got this once. It's like, you don't know how to blend. You can't really be in the ensemble, you know?
You know, it's a blessing and a curse.
Because I thought in the ensemble, like sticking out too much is a problem.
Yeah, one could argue that.
Brian's like, I argued that.
At the time, I argued that. But now looking back, I say, honestly, respect. Respect. Yeah. Radio of the day.
Any news? For me, it was any news.
So good. Yeah. I loved when Charles was like, why are we doing plan A?
Yeah. He's taking over this team. He's literally done. He's also trying on a new, like Lando's been to therapy and it's like, no, I can be him. I can be sexy Ron. I can be a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like fun to see these guys like trying on these new personas.
No, Charles has been to therapy and he's like, I can question the strategy moves. I can question
get a guy fired.
Yeah. I can chop off a head.
Have you seen Dune 2?
No.
Ugh. Like the one what's fun in the heart is the Harkonnens. I forgot Dave Bautista. Just anytime like a lackey like pisses him off, he just like will break his neck or just like just smash his face against the wall. It's like, oh, that's right. I'm very powerful. And anytime anybody displeases me, I can just snap necks. That I have that power. And it's nice to see him exercising it.
Yeah, it's about time that Charles realizes that he can do that. And but it is so funny when he kind of like puts on those big boy pants.
Yeah.
When he puts on those big boy pants and is like, why are we doing this? I'm allowed to question you. It's just like,
and then their answer was Charles. So lame. They're like, everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, everyone's doing it, actually.
So if everybody told you to jump off a bridge, if everyone else was driving off a bridge, would you tell me to do that too?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. Daddy of the day. Max fucking Verstappen.
He just delivers, dude. He's the father of Red Bull these days. I mean, the tables have really turned. I've been saying this for a while. In the beginning, Christian was like, Max schmax. I could stick a monkey in there. And he'd probably put it on pole. Right. Bullshit. Right. You need him now. You fucking need him.
Yep. No, he just fucking brings it home. He brings home the fucking bacon. That's fucking daddy. That's daddy vibes.
That's daddy behavior.
Karen of the day.
It's Carlos Sainz. It should be the Carlos. Carlos Sainz award at this point.
Yeah. And red flag of the day.
Red flag of the day. Where the hell is fucking Martin Brundle?
Where is he?
Where in the world is Martin Brundle? You know what I did? I don't like Crofty and Karun. I actually like Alex Jakes and Jakes is good. I realized I don't love Crofty. I'm realizing that. I like Brundle.
Well, the two of them together, you know.
But I realized without Brundle, the Crofty's not. It doesn't hit. It doesn't hit for me.
Yeah, I hear that.
Crofty and Karun, they just don't have the chemistry.
It's about chemistry.
And what I love about Alex Jakes is he fucking, I switched over. He gets really just excited.
Yeah.
Like when George did the pass, like I rewatched the beginning of the race and I watched it with Jake's and he was like, oh my God. You know, like he was really into it. Like this guy's a fucking geek. Like he lives for this shit. Where the fuck is Brundle?
Brundle, we miss you, baby. We need you.
What was your red flag of the day?
We fucking need you. V-Car, baby. Come on. Our boys. I was so excited. They're bringing upgrades.
Oh, God. They did bring upgrades, didn't they?
They brought upgrades.
Yeah. So the feeling like when we buy nice cameras and they don't fucking work.
Yeah, the road courses, this is going to be an interesting summer because certain teams, like, who knows, maybe these Alpines are better on the road course. You know, it's like they might be benefit from street tracks. Like, maybe that, like, come Baku, you know, Yuki will be fighting up there again. We'll see what they can do with it. But I was like, oh, Yuki's in last. He's kind of nowhere.
He got re-signed, so, although he really should have gone Alpine, dude.
Dude. We're big on Alpine. We're buying on Alpine.
I'm buying. I mean, is Travis Kelce and or are we not giving enough credit to Travis Kelce and Ryan Reynolds and those guys? Are they starting to do the Wrexham thing? Or is it more Flavio?
Yeah. I think it's a flash in the pan. We'll see. We'll see how the rest of these races go.
I mean, apparently Spain is like the prototype. Like how you do in Spain is kind of where you're at.
I know, but like, it is for certain types of tracks, I feel like. For road courses, maybe, but like I don't know if it means anything for like Singapore or Baku or Canada, you know. All right, fuck, marry, kill, the real podium, the three Brits. Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, George Russell.
I'm marrying Lewis Hamilton because he just knows how to go the distance, dude. He's in it for the long haul.
Yep. One night with George.
We gotta.
I mean,
come on.
If George is good for one thing, it's for like a moment.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Lando. I mean, I'm sure Lando's good at one night stands. I mean, he seems to have an active. According to if you look at the rumors, he seems to have an active love life.
No.
I mean, but if you're like an anxious person, like
it's not. You
don't want to do one night stands with people with high anxiety is not fun.
100%. No, I think that Lando's working his way up to being wifey material. I don't know if he's there quite yet. I think I need him to work out more of his stuff, and I think
Lando's like a guy you want maybe a fling with, but not one night stand. One night stand, you got to be an adult.
Yeah, no strings attached moment, but then all of a sudden he's coming to you with his anxieties, and you're like, this isn't what I got into this for.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think I'm marrying Lewis. I'm spending one night with George, and I'll say Lando.
Here's the thing.
Talk to me. I'm not killing you, but
here's what I know. I'm not.
Yeah.
I just know between Lando and George, I know the George one will be eventful. Like there is no chance that it won't be one of the best stories I'll ever have is my night with George. Whereas Lando, maybe I'll have a good time. Maybe it'll be completely forgettable. The night with George will be fucking unforgettable.
It'll be
unforgettably good
to tell for the rest of my life.
Unforgettably good. Unforgettable. It will be unforgettable.
Yeah.
I will never stop thinking about it for the rest of my life. Has to be George.
100%. All right, Austria is coming up. What do you think?
God damn it, Lando! Fucking just do it already. Just beat him.
I don't think it's happening.
Just
in Austria.
beat him.
I think if it happens anywhere, it happens in
Silverstone. Red Bull goes strong in Austria, don't they? It's a home race.
Red Bull hits hard in Austria. Yeah. Red Bull hits hard there. Though Lando's had good performances, but
Lando likes Austria. They've said he's run very well there.
I think it's where he got his first podium.
Yeah, he's good in Austria. So
yeah,
probably gonna be Max. But people were saying Max was gonna run away with this one.
Yeah.
Including Gunther Steiner. Gunther Steiner was like Red Bull 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what Gunther
has to say.
For Banca hours. Was this race compared to the Las Vegas Grand Prix? Where do you put this
Nowhere
race?
close.
Nowhere close, dude.
Nowhere close.
Nowhere fucking close. All right. That just about does it.
Yeah.
Fucking A. All right, Venkas. Venka Hours coming out on Thursday. It's a full show with Gunter Steiner. It's an extra show with Gunter Steiner. Gunter Steiner isn't on the Red Flags podcast. He's a co-host of Venka Hours with us. Subscribe to the YouTube channels. Subscribe to wherever you're listening to this. Give us a 5-star rating. Let's stay. We're still on the charts, on the Spotify charts, baby. We're still up there. We're still on that top 50.
Yeah.
So keep us going.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Thank you for all your support. Subscribe on YouTube and subscribe to the Patreon. We just did a full episode talking about the life and times of Kevin Magnussen. We discussed his autobiography, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is a great autobiography.
And it's honestly one of the favorite episodes I think we've ever done.
It's an all-time great.
It's an all-time great episode on patreon.com/TRF pod. Get with it, Vankas. Okay, babies. Until next time.
Goodbye, Vankas.
Goodbye, Vankas.